New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring. New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Live from a secure concrete bunker somewhere in Ohio, New Thought Media Network presents Pastor Michael Mangus with Friday's Fireside Chat, spiritual conversation for today. Here he is from the secret radio room, surrounded by thousands of watts, Pastor Michael Mangus.
And a very pleasant Friday evening to you, the very last day of February in the year of 2025. Good evening to you. It is time once again on this Friday evening for another thrill-packed, fun-filled, and guaranteed, always exciting edition of the Friday Evening Fireside Chat here on your New Thought Media Network. I am Reverend Michael Mangus, and I am speaking to you this evening from the Attila the Hun radio studio, ensconced in the extra secure concrete bunker somewhere around Akron, Ohio, that is so top secret. Only one person knows where it's at. Everybody else, including my guest this evening and my boss, who cringes every time that I call him my boss, the Reverend Dr. Robert Brzezinski, they have no idea where the concrete bunker is located. And we're going to keep it that way, especially with all that's going on out there. Well, again, we have a wonderful show for you this evening. And again, please feel free to interact with us by posting your comments on Facebook or YouTube. And again, I know, some of you are really shy out there. You don't like posting comments. I get that. You can just send me an email. pastormichaelmangus@gmail.com, pastormichaelmangus@gmail.com. The only thing I read during the show are the comments, but send me an email. I read those during the week. And I usually respond. Usually. Just ask Jeff Radcliff. So the purpose of our fireside chat here is for us, again, to get cozy around the fire, have something warm to drink, alcoholic or not. This is just coffee, by the way. But Jeff Radcliff thinks it's Irish coffee. But I go ahead and I put a shot or two of good stuff in it. But anyhow, we're sitting by the fire and we're talking about life. And what we talk about on this show, in a somewhat humorous way, are the serious subjects of the day and how we can put a spiritual spin on it, how we can go ahead and to not let the news overwhelm us, but how can we be a part of the solution? How can we claim our own individual power and to create a world that does work for everyone? Well, I wasn't sure if he was going to be here this evening, but all the way from the great state of Tennessee,
I'm here.
It is my honor to present to you this evening Divine Science Minister Reverend Jeff Radcliff, who, okay, let me tell you what happened with. I'll tell you about what happened with legal in a moment.
You mean more stuff went down? Are you kidding me?
Well, Jeff always has an interesting comment or two on the news. Okay, so from last week's program, we did debut a brand new feature, Reverend Jeff's Story of the Week.
Yeah.
So legal's still reviewing it, but their only comment was, "You mean he only used one F-bomb?" That was their comment. And they said, if we hold any FCC licenses again, you may have to get that 7-second delay. But Jeff, there was
I got a whole lot more if you need them. I can do left, right, and center. I
know you can. But this evening we weren't sure if you were able to be with us tonight.
Yeah.
And I haven't been, this is one of those weeks where, and I do not like being sick. Okay. So I just, I had this fever and bug and all that stuff. And, and watching the news, and I'm going, what am I going to do? What should I do? And you know what?
The first thing you should have done was call me for prayer to get you feeling better.
Okay, you know what? And you're right. That's the first thing. But for tonight, I had to call in the heavy hitter. And so I went to the top of our highest building here in Gotham City. I tore the canvas off of the huge spotlight. I called Commissioner Gordon and he said, "Turn on the bat signal. We need Batman." Hold on here. Hold on. We're getting communication. We're getting communication now. Hello, Batman. Can you hear us?
Yes, and I am here. What is it that you need?
Oh my God. Bruce Wayne is black. I didn't know that.
Well, he usually keeps that undercover. He usually keeps that on. Yeah. Another guest commentator this evening, the Reverend Dr. Raymont Anderson, who's the spiritual director of the Center for Spiritually Inspired Arts, which is a Center for Spiritual Living teaching center in Delaware. And again, it's good to have the two of you on this evening.
Great to be with you both.
Okay,
absolutely.
So Raymont heard the story earlier, Jeff, so I'll tell it to you. So I go ahead and it was 11:30, and I said I could start show prep, but I'm going to go ahead and let it go for another 90 minutes and start show prep at like 1:30, because I know that 47 is going to do something really stupid. And boy, was I right.
And this is why I drink.
Every day.
Every day.
Just a matter of what time during the day.
Well,
he did stupid, didn't he?
Oh, well, okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the WWE Elimination Chamber will be on this weekend on Peacock and other pay-per-view this weekend. The road to WrestleMania is on the way, but it began early at the White House today. With the main event being a three-way between the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, President Donald Trump, and I'm sorry he's from Ohio, guys, J.D. Vance. What happened is that the meeting devolved into a shouting match with the U.S. president telling the Ukraine leader to make a deal or we're out. And then Vice President J.D. Vance questioning whether or not Zelensky had demonstrated enough gratitude for U.S. support during the 3-year war. What happened was then Trump threw him out. Absolutely. Him and the rest of the Ukrainian team there just threw him out. And I'll read what he wrote on Truth Social here in just a moment. But he departed without signing the mineral rights deals and also without holding the joint news conference with Trump as was planned earlier. So analysts say that the Trump-Zelensky exchange was total bully tactics by the U.S. president. You think?
That's all he knows.
Yeah, I'm not going to even try to pronounce this individual's name, but they're really smart. They're the Academy Associate at the Ukrainian Forum of Britain think tank said that President Donald Trump was siding with the aggressor following his tense Oval Office exchange with Ukrainian President Zelensky. He said total bully tactics by the U.S. president and the vice president. I mean, here you had J.D. Vance. I mean, J.D. Vance started it by yelling at another head of state. You had people on CNN going nuts, saying, we, in all of our years of covering this White House, have never, ever seen this amount of disrespect in our careers.
Well, he's from Ohio. What do you expect?
The views and opinions expressed are those of Jeff Radcliff and were meant to insult the host of this program.
Who will soon be hearing an F-bomb if he doesn't get on with it.
All right. Well, so this is what was said here on Truth Social. Trump wrote, "We had a very meaningful meeting at the White House today." Yes, you're right. Much was learned that could never have been understood without the conversation under such fire and pressure. It's amazing what comes out through emotion, and I have determined that President Zelensky is not ready for peace if America is involved because he feels that our involvement gives him a big advantage in the negotiation. I don't want advantage. I want peace. Trump said he disrespected the United States of America in its cherished Oval Office. He can come back when he's ready for peace, Trump said. Your comments, gentlemen.
You go first, Jeff.
Well, it devolved into a shouting match only because, from what I saw, President Zelensky was trying to maintain some sense of decorum and try to answer appropriately, and kept being talked over by both the Orange Menace and the Appalachian Wannabe. Pure bully tactics. That's a nice way of putting it.
Exactly. I mean, like, we could look back at the first time he ran for office and the manner in which he stalked around Hillary as though he was ready to attack. Bully tactics. The fact that he, like, all of the impeachment related stuff, all of the sexual assault related stuff, all of that stuff, if we trace it back, the fact that when he was in New York and he took out a full page ad to have 5 young men executed, all without the evidence. All of his history demonstrates that he is a petulant fool.
And that's putting it nicely for legal.
Right. Yeah, well, I'm with you.
I would have
I don't
said
want legal to come after me next.
So my question then is, gentlemen, is why did America elect this guy back in the office after, again, a 4-year break, after getting a taste of what this guy did the first time? I mean, his accomplishments were less than zero the first time. So the second time in Trump 2.0, he's coming back and taking revenge. So again, it was interesting after the confrontation was that many of the European countries went ahead and said, "We have your back, Ukraine." It seems like, and that J.D. Vance and also Trump were saying Vladimir Putin's talking points on all of this. So, folks, we're going to get a lot of this crazy stuff here, again, because of the individuals in the White House. I know it's going to be an interesting ride, and that somehow or another, that again, that we have to be louder than the craziness. We have to speak up here. Your comments, gentlemen.
I'll tell you, at the end of these shows when I'm with you, I try to bring a little bit of spirituality into it and remind everybody that no matter what it looks like, we're looking at divinity. And that's whether we're talking about Trump or Putin or Hitler or whoever. We're looking at a face of divinity. And I will confess to you that this afternoon, after breaking a few things and throwing them against the wall, and I dropped more F-bombs than Kyiv has seen in a long time, I almost came to the conclusion that when I look at Donald Trump, I'm not seeing the face of divinity. And then I had to catch myself. Because I was falling into a trap that has no power unless I give it that power. And I almost gave it that power. I almost let it take me to a very dark place. And we cannot do that. We cannot allow ourselves to do that. It's not the truth. It's not the truth. No matter what it looks like, Spirit is there. God is there. And somewhere, somehow, we don't know how it's going to work out. All we can do is believe that there is divine order and it is unfolding, even if we can't see it.
Ray, any comments about that?
Well, before I comment about what Reverend Jeff just said, referencing how did this happen, just my observation, without going into any conspiracy theories, there is the whole aspect of how many votes were actually calculated.
Mm-hmm.
There were stations with ballots in them that were set on fire. Whatever happened with, how do you track down who put something in that box? And how do you, so there's a whole aspect of, did he really win the election? There's a whole section, people who didn't vote at all. Then they're like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff. But to the point of those who did vote for him, there is a serious malady in the consciousness of the United States of America today. And truth be told, we see the exact same kind of thing through the threads of New Thought. There's an element of privilege where people have an idea of the whole slogan, "Make America Great Again." Follow that thread back to the consciousness of it. It's, we want to go back to a time when we had power, quote unquote,
Yes.
and we got to do what we wanted to do.
Right.
Voting for this, in my opinion, is trying to reestablish this thing. If we never address this thing, because 3 steps back, Trump in and of himself is not the thing. The Heritage Foundation. Where's all the conversation about the consciousness of the Heritage Foundation, which has been pulling the strings since Reagan?
Right.
Where is all of, so cut the strings of the puppet, yes, but there will be another puppet in place because they're still in place. So to Jeff's point about the idea of, yes, without a doubt, Joel Goldsmith says God expresses God, and that expression appears as you. Without a doubt, divine, yes. Now, what do we do about it? Because they don't know it. We do. So how do we address their lack of awareness with our awareness, and thereby transform the consciousness, heal the consciousness, get leaders who are actually effective into office?
Well, I think that falls squarely on our shoulders to work on our consciousness. We can't change their minds, but we can change ours. And when we change ours, they can see outer effects and maybe decide, oh, I want that for myself. So we lead by example. That's the only thing that we can do, is lead by example. And I had another point, and it's completely gone right now.
And if I may, one other thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just one other thing in reference to I've been encouraging people, keep in mind that the suffragist movement, the women during this era they were being oppressed. I mean, for real, women were to be, invisible unless it's time for you to cook our meal and all that stuff. And yet they stood up and spoke out. The African-American community, people of color, you're not even considered an actual person. So civil rights. Okay, the police are raiding the clubs and bashing in transgender people's heads. And so the gay liberation movement. Okay, HIV and AIDS, but the government and Reagan, they're not doing anything. So act up. All of these things were people who said, I cannot idly sit by and continue down this path. They made a choice, and they intervened in the course of how things were showing up. Did everything change? No, because if they did, we wouldn't be where we are now. However, great strides were made. That's right. For me, that's our invitation now.
Yes, and that's my invitation to each and every person watching, is that the party in office right now, they want you to shut up. Don't. You have your power to show the world here you are powerful. Don't listen to whoever and your so-called friends on social media that call you that you have Trump derangement syndrome. If I hear that one more time, I'm going to turn whoever that it is into the state psychiatric association for them practicing therapy without a license. There is not a Trump derangement syndrome. It's that they do not like, or these individuals, again, with God consciousness or an awareness, that they right now that they're demonizing the enemy. They're saying, well, don't talk about the president that way. No. The things that are happening, we need to be aware of. We can't go ahead and deny them away like we usually have done in New Thought. Now is the time. Now is the time to take action, to move with passion and purpose. And again, this is the time. And again, like the examples that Raymont just said, great strides are made again when we all speak up and out. Right. And it does not have to be that you have to be on the streets. Now, again, I may end up there, but that's not for everyone to do, though. All right. So, go ahead, Jeff.
2 points. First of which, I do think there is Trump derangement syndrome, but I don't think it works the way they think it works. I think it works the other way. I mean, what else do you call somebody who has drank that much orange Kool-Aid and fallen so far into the trap that they have fallen into? I think Trump derangement syndrome has to do more with the way that he is idolized by people rather than despised by the other side.
Right.
Second point, Raymont reminded me of what it was that I had lost a little bit ago when he was talking about going back, MAGA, Make America Great Again, going back to this over here. They want to go back to when white men reigned supreme over the women, over the black people and the brown people and everybody else in between. And we see that domestically with what's going on in our country. What we saw today was them trying to take that mindset and take it out of the domestic realm and move it into the international community. And I have a pretty good idea that the rest of the civilized world is not going to stand for it. Not like we have. We, for whatever reason, Americans have rolled over on their frickin' back and decided to take this. We've showed our belly, and that is a sign of submission. NATO and the rest of Europe and the rest of and the rest of Asia, and I'm pretty sure that the rest of the countries in Africa and South America are going to follow suit. They're not going to want American colonialism again, and that's what I think that Trump's trying to do. This idea of trying to take over Greenland, trying to take over Canada. Now, I'll tell you something. Trump talks out his ass a lot, and we all know it. We all know. Now, some of these things he has actually followed through on, like the tariffs. But seriously, I mean, stop and think about it. Canada belongs to the NATO alliance. If one NATO country is attacked, the rest of the alliance is going to jump on board. If we would do something stupid, and I would like to think that there are enough military personnel in high ranks who would see the folly of trying to annex Canada. And what they mean by annex is a Russian-style invasion, just like they did Ukraine. If you think that that's going to happen, it's not going to happen. There's enough people, I think, that it would stymie that idea. Besides, do we as the United States, even though we are a diminishing superpower, can we stand against the entire NATO alliance? I don't think so.
I don't think so. Yeah. One more story here before break, and this is worrisome. Trump officials fire 800 employees at the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, also known as the National Weather Service. We're around, again, 800 employees, very technical, mostly meteorologists, have been tapped for termination. They said that more layoffs were possible today. I did not see that, though, in the news. Most of the divisions of the agency, they employ scientists and specialists in weather, oceans, biodiversity, climate, and other research and planetary monitoring fields. Now, the probationary employees, and that term's been used a lot here, those who have been on their jobs for a year or less, in most cases, were fired on Thursday. And there were between 350 and 375 employees with that status at the Weather Service. The concerning thing is this: what's going to happen when hurricane season hits? What's going to happen to the accuracy of the forecast? What's going to happen when tornado season starts cranking up here in the Midwest? What's going to happen? Who's going to track it? The rest of the National Weather Service? And again, they continue to do really wonderful research into the reason that we're at where we're at with all the weather forecasting has been because of NOAA, right? Because of their research. So now, again, Elon and his motley crew going in there and just taking a razor blade to everything and then regretting it.
Mhm.
Like air traffic controllers saying, we need air traffic controllers back.
Mhm. Mhm.
Wiping out the nuclear safety division and then saying, oops. Your comments.
I've been seeing a lot of talk in local groups. We've all heard of Tornado Alley, and we all know where Tornado Alley is.
Yes.
Did you know there's a place called Dixie Alley? I didn't know that until just a few days ago. It's from like East Texas over to about Georgia and up north to midway into Kentucky.
Yes.
And so me living here in the Mid-South in Middle Tennessee, I'm right smack dab in the middle of Dixie Alley. And they are calling the preliminary forecast for the next 3 months, starting in March, which is tomorrow.
Yes.
Is for increased chances of severe weather. And there are a lot of local folks starting to freak out because now they're taking that stupid ass chainsaw to NOAA, and they're cutting off communications between different departments and whatnot. We had a tornado touchdown out here just a few days ago,
Yes.
about 4 or 5 miles from my house.
Mhm.
And there is no such thing anymore, at least here. There is no such thing anymore as tornado season, because we have had tornadoes in December and January that have killed people. This is welcome to climate change. People are beginning to sit up and take notice now that maybe what's going on with Doge and with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Hackers is going to bite them in the butt.
Well, as we said last week, is that, and it was continued at other town halls, mostly in Republican districts, is that these representatives got an earful this past week.
Mhm.
And many of them are now canceling their town halls because they don't want to hear it.
Mhm.
But again, the wheels are coming off the bus here. And that I'm just going to say for me, is that I am there to listen to individuals when they experience regret for what they did by voting him into office.
Mhm.
And so I'm going to show, for me personally, I'm going to show some mercy and compassion and say, all right, we all make mistakes here. Let's work together to try to turn this thing around.
Right.
Guys, we are over our break here. Raymont, did you have something to say real quick?
Well, real quick, I was going to say in the CNN article, it said that the letter of termination that they received, it said the agency finds that you are not fit for continued employment because your ability, knowledge, and or skills are not or do not fit with the agency's current needs. How fitting is it that all of the nominations, all of the appointees, all of these folks, that letter should go to them? None of them are qualified for what they're doing. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Hackers, like they're not qualified, none of them. So that letter is very telling the consciousness that it's coming from and who it's being directed at.
Right.
It's an admission of their own incompetence.
All right. So let's take a quick break and we'll be back. Well, we have other WWE action to talk about.
Oh, more.
Let's get ready to rumble.
Donald Trump gets into it with the governor from Maine. And she told him where to go. Well, welcome this evening. This is the Friday evening fireside chat here on your New Thought Media Network. I am Reverend Michael. Good to see everyone this evening. Please put your comments in. We're we're glad to include you in the conversation. And so this Sunday, we'd love to see you at Summit CSL. For more information, go to summitcsl.org. There you will find all of our contact information and also how to get into our Zoom call, which our service starts at 10:30 Eastern Time, 7:30 Pacific Time. Please join us. It's a great service this Sunday. Our spiritual leader, Diana Mangus, will be speaking on the first step to spiritual mind treatment, recognition. So that'll be her topic this Sunday here at Summit CSL. So please join us, summitcsl.org. All right. So we are going to take a really quick break and then we'll be right back. You're watching this evening, the Friday evening Fireside Chat here on your New Thought Media Network.
What if the person you think you are is just a fraction of who you truly are? What if years of conditioning and surviving in a challenging world have left you clinging to strategies and beliefs that mask your truest nature? I'm Catherine Duca, psychotherapist and self-esteem coach, and you're listening to Who Do You Think You Are? A show that looks beneath our psychological masks and uncovers our profoundly messy, beautiful, brilliant, tender-hearted essence. Join me as we go in search of the hidden power of our true selves. I'm so glad you're here.
The views and opinions expressed by Pastor Michael Mangus are generally right. However, they are his own and do not reflect the views and opinions of New Thought Media Network, Centers for Spiritual Living, or any other person living or dead. As they say in the 12-Step Recovery Program, take what you like and leave the rest. Here again is Pastor Michael.
Maybe I should put myself on stage here. We're back in the studio. Well, hi there. This is the Friday evening Fireside Chat here on your New Thought Media Network. I wanted to show you gentlemen here. This is from the Supreme Commander of New Thought Media Network. Knowing the two of you, he said, I gave legal the night off.
That's dangerous.
Right.
Because that's giving me free reign.
Oh, believe me, if we do something that gets in his ear, I'll hear about it on Monday. But that's okay. Legal only nailed us on one F-bomb, Jeff. That was
it. All it takes, though, you know? I mean, that third-class radio operator's license I have is good for my lifetime. They could still come back and take it away from me.
Yes.
They could, but they're probably not. But.
I don't think so, Jeff.
Nah.
I'd keep it on your wall.
It's around here somewhere. I have no idea where it is.
All right. All right. So let's, again, WWE news continues here this evening. This is President Donald Trump sparring with Maine's Democratic governor during a meeting of governors at the White House last Friday, with Governor Janet Mills telling the Republican president, we will see you in court over his push to deny federal funding to the state over transgender athletes. Trump told the governor that he looked forward to it and predicted the end of her political career for opposing his order. Do you believe that?
It's
what kind of bullying? I mean, it's almost like we're in, like 4th or 5th grade here. How crazy. And it said later Friday, later Friday, the U.S. Department of Education said it was initiating an investigation after a phone call from Donald Trump into the Maine Department of Education over the inclusion of transgender athletes. And again, I wonder who made a phone call. So this was the back and forth at this lunch, breakfast for the nation's governors. Is Maine here? The governor of Maine, he asked. He says, I'm here. She replied, are you going to comply with it? He asked and says, I am complying with state and federal law. King Trump responded, we are the federal law. And again, he threatened the state's federal funding and said Maine may be a Democratic state, but its residents largely agree with him on this issue. The governor said, we are going to follow the law. Trump warned, you better comply, otherwise you're not getting any federal funding. The governor then replied, we will see you in court. And Trump replied, good, I'll see you in court. I look forward to that. That should be a real easy one, and enjoy your life after governor, because I don't think that you'll be in elected politics.
Apparently, he's not paying attention to what's been happening in the courts these days, because a lot of the lawsuits against him and the federal government and what they're doing with Doge are coming back, and they're coming back against him. He needs to be a little more careful in the threats that he makes, particularly when he tries to call down the courts, because the courts, I think, are finally getting fed up with him.
Even his appointees from last term?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, look, finally, what's his name? Simon Bar Sinister. Giuliani. Yeah.
Simon Bart's.
look at a cartoon of him and Rudy Giuliani. They look exactly like that.
Okay.
He finally, came to realize that there was no way in hell he was ever going to prevail in court against those women that he slandered. And so he's finally got him paid off. The judgment against him, he finally is paid off. It's a house of cards that they're building, and it's going to come tumbling down. We just have to get the intestinal fortitude to wait it out and to hold the vision that there is a world that works for everyone, and we are in the process of building it. We may go through some rough spots. I mean, what person builds a house and doesn't have something come up that they need to adjust the plans or spend a little bit of extra money or effort or whatever in order to get their perfect house built? It's on the way, folks. We just have to remember that we keep our eyes on the prize, on the destination, and not on the journey.
Reverend Dr. Raymont?
I was going to say, and to keep in mind, because I see this happen a lot, especially in New Thought, keep in mind that, like what Reverend Jeff just said, it doesn't mean that we're not active, because a lot of people have said to me, well, if I just sit back and wait, the people in Germany sat back and waited. Yeah. And it took a war and millions of people's deaths for the globe to wake up. How many people died as a result of Jim Crow? How many people died as a result of the AIDS and the inactivity of? So let's be clear that if we want change, then we have to be the change.
Yes.
Right. So it's like identify, for example, we know that this man is a bully. We already know this. And we see and we know, like Jeff said, the courts are doing what they're doing. They're doing what they were put there to do.
Yes.
How are we also doing what we need to do? For example, today was, I don't remember which protest it was, boycott it was. I think it was Walmart and Target. But the point is, they understand the money. Stop Amazon, stop Bezos, stop New York Times, stop whoever is kowtowing to the king and the bullying tactics, speak up in the way that you feel is your most effective way. And if that is, I will no longer shop at Walmart, assuming that I have the privilege to make that choice, I will not shop at Walmart. I'm not going to hit the streets. I'm not going to protest. That's not my thing to do, but I can do that. Then do that. If it's nothing, write a letter to your governor, write a letter to the Supreme Court justices who are actually there to serve justice. Write them and say, little old me back in wherever it is that I am, I'm writing a letter just to let you know that I appreciate you and your ability to dissent. Speak up in whatever way that you can. Stop letting Uncle whoever dictate how the conversation goes at Thanksgiving because he's part of the cult. Shut that down. Speak up and speak out however it is that you are called to do so, because as Jeff said, sometimes we're going to measure, and what does this say? Measure twice, cut once, because we want to make sure that we're actually changing stuff rather than putting a Band-Aid on a bullet wound that, wait, that's not enough. We're just bandaging the symptoms rather than actually dealing with the cure.
Right.
Well, let's move on here. And we'd like to wish all of our Muslim brothers and sisters, and hopefully I don't butcher this up, but Ramadan Mubarak. I think I was close there, but happy Ramadan. They're starting Ramadan tonight, which is 40 days of fasting, and also 30 days. Muslims from around the world will abstain from eating and drinking during daylight hours. But after after the sun goes down, the party comes out. You can even join your, if you know some Muslim friends, join them for iftar, which is the big communal dinner on the days of Ramadan. And also coming up here.
Wait. There's one more that you missed that I have to call you on. Today is also Losar, and Losar is the Tibetan Buddhist New Year.
Oh,
yes.
I did not know that. Well,
Yes,
I didn't know Ramadan was going to be today until I started researching the news.
Yes.
Losar.
How cool is that? Ramadan and Losar. And so welcome to year 2152, according to the Tibetan calendar.
Yes, that's iftar. That's yes.
Awesome.
And on Wednesday coming up here, it'll be Ash Wednesday. And Jeff, I am not going through the streets of Akron again in sackcloth and ashes to repent of my sins. I'm not going to do that this year. It almost got me arrested last year. My neighbors were upset. The police were called. So
you're supposed to wear clothes, not just the ashes.
It's where the ashes don't never mind.
Well, again, that's a sign of spring, folks. So again, we're going to be having spring. One more thing here, and I think that we'll call the night here, and an update on Jeff's second favorite pope.
Yeah.
It's not his first favorite pope. I come to find out last week, but we are getting reports from the Vatican that Pope Francis today suffered an isolated breathing crisis while receiving treatment in the hospital. The 88-year-old pontiff experienced a sudden deterioration in his condition, which triggered vomiting and further complications. Francis was admitted to the hospital on February 14th after struggling with breathing difficulties, and Vatican insiders detailed the alarming episode, and the medical staff act swiftly, clearing his airwaves and initiating non-invasive mechanical ventilation. Sources confirmed the Holy Father was promptly aspirated and then started on non-invasive mechanical ventilation with good response on gas exchange, whatever that means medically, which I have No idea. Our prayers are still with Pope Francis, who is Jeff's. See, the reason Jeff likes the Pope, and the reason being is because he wears cool clothes. Is that the reason, Jeff?
Well, and that jewelry, man. I mean, hey, gold crosses and stuff. Yeah.
Well, how about the shoes, though?
I'm not a fan of the shoes. No, they're too close to Jimmy Choo's for my taste. And you know he's gay when he references Jimmy Choo. But what's really cool about Francis that makes me love him is the fact that he's so transparent. If this had been any other pope prior to him, all of this would have been kept under wraps. They would not have let the church, let alone the world, know what's going on with him. So this is unprecedented. It's really pretty cool that he is that transparent. He cares about people, and he cares enough to let us know how he's doing, as well as letting us know that he cares how we are doing.
And that whoever is his successor, whether it be now or later, my wish for them is that they continue leading the Catholic Church into the 21st century rather than taking it back into the Stone Ages here. So to continue to make small steps towards LGBTQ inclusion. I know he didn't do it all the way, but you know, when you have other people
let's see the church
yelling at you
ordain some
about stuff.
women.
What now?
Let's see the church ordain some women.
Yes, absolutely. And that
No Catholic MAGA. We're not going back.
No,
Not going back.
No Catholic MAGA. Gentlemen, we are out of time here.
No, we're not. We've still got 8 minutes, according to what Mike says.
Jeff wants to go all the way up to.
Yeah.
You cut me off every other time. Now you're trying to cut me off beforehand.
No, I'm giving you a chance to wrap up. Reverend Jeff, go.
Well, okay. Here's the deal. We've talked a lot. We've expressed anger, frustration. We still have to remember we need to do, like Raymont said, we need to do what's ours to do, but we also need to remember that Spirit does the heavy lifting. We set our sights on the destination, on our goal. We work and do what is ours to do to get there, but we trust that God will get us the rest of the way. We need to remember that we are spiritual beings and that no matter what it looks like, there is divine order at work, and we will see this through.
Reverend Dr. Raymont.
Two things. One, let us keep in mind that all things that have been legal were not always ethical. So always be in that space of discerning. Just because they say it's legal for him to do and them to do doesn't mean it's ethical. We are a people of ethics and integrity. Stand in that and get together with people to be supported. I know a lot of people are feeling helpless and hopeless. And so I've reminded folks, because I'm good with some acronyms, that hope isn't this airy-fairy thing. Hope is, using the acronym, how our power expresses.
Wow.
Get together with people who remind you of that. Get together with people who nurture that in you, who see that in you, and then be present. Be the change.
You need to write an acronym dictionary.
Don't tell me.
And I will help you with that because I've come up with a few of my own. We could do this.
Jeff said, make an acronym dictionary and collaborate on it. Okay, thank you, Siri. Take that note.
Hey, it's ours to do.
Amen. Amen.
Well,
Michael, thank you for letting us.
How our power expresses. How wonderful.
Thank you for letting us get together and do this, because it's been really fun having another person in here to bounce ideas off of, to get inspiration. And
you mean I'm not enough?
No.
Sorry. All give peace a chance.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it.
This has been my farewell episode. It's been nice. I'll never be back.
Please, if I only got in trouble a little bit last week from last week's show, then you're good. And again, as Reverend Dr. Roberts said, that he says we're given the night off. Real quick, Raymont and also Jeff, what is our question that we want to ask Reverend Robert here during his show? Ask Reverend Robert anything. What question do we want to put in the chat for him to try to answer?
You ready?
Boxers are briefs.
I'm ready. I'm ready. Go ahead.
Okay. If you had your own, like, you get to decide what New Thought would be and do, what would it be? Your word is law. What would it be?
Okay, if you had your choice, what New Thought would be?
Like if he was, not necessarily just spiritual leader, but like if they said, you know what, Reverend Dr. Robert, you get to decide what New Thought is going to be in the world starting today. What would that be? What would he change? What would he implement? What would that be?
He'd probably implement a lot more drinking and illegal marijuana use. Yeah.
Debauchery.
Debauchery. I'll put that in the chat. Let's see what he says. But I was thinking more along the lines of like a Batman question.
Oh, okay. Okay. Batman question. Let's see.
If we were to shoot up a light beam in the sky to summon Reverend Dr. Robert, instead of the bat signal, what would his symbol be?
Okay. Mm-hmm. So what?
How's that?
Mm-hmm.
Is that good? Beats the hell out of boxers or briefs, right?
Symbol.
What would your call sign be?
What would your call sign be?
Yeah.
All right. If we had to summon you like the bat signal. Okay. Okay.
I picture a radio tower with like beams coming out of the top of it.
Yeah.
That's me. Yeah.
Or satellite dishes. Well, he's still, I tell him, I put the vision out there. I said, we're going to hold FCC licenses someday, whether you like it or not, because you have Mr. Radio and Television Geek on your squad. And
and there's a good question right there. I see what we're doing with New Thought Media Network visually, but are we going to come up with? I know that the idea had been bandied around a while back about a 24-hour radio station to actually do this. Where are we in that process? And is it ever going to happen?
Well, again, the radio station is on Live 365. If you just go to New Thought Radio, and then, it's not, maybe about 80% there. But if you can always tune into the stream, I know that I'm always putting in programming there. So, but it's on Live 365. So there is a New Thought Radio there.
Okay.
Gentlemen, we got to go. Thank you so very much for being here this evening. You guys go back into the green room, have some snacks here for a few minutes, and I'll come back and visit you here in just a moment. Again, thank you so very much. All right, guys. It is time to go. Wow. Hour goes by. Those guys were, again, we'll have to have both those gentlemen on again. But yeah, I needed Batman tonight. Really bad. This was one of those weeks. Well, I'd like to remind everyone that we are powered by all the wonderful contributions that you give here. And again, if you could please, ntmedia.org/donate, as little as $5, even one time, would really make a big difference in helping us take this powerful message to the world. And again, it's very easy to do it. Just go to ntmedia.org/donate. You can either give a very generous one-time gift, or you may do like I do and give a monthly gift. And again, whatever that you do, again, your contribution blesses the world. You get that good feeling for giving, but also to know that your gift is also blessing someone either here in the United States or around the world. It's amazing the emails that we get from not just this country, but again, from Canada, from Japan, and from other, New Zealand, from Australia, South Africa. So again, ntmedia.org/donate. On behalf of all of us here at the New Thought Media Network, I'm Reverend Michael Mangus. I'm going to wish you a very pleasant good night and have a great week.
Thanks for joining us this evening for Friday's Fireside Chat with Pastor Michael Mangus. Join us again next week at 8 Eastern, 6 Mountain for more spiritual conversations for today. For more information and replays of past shows, please visit the New Thought Radio and Media Network's Facebook page. Until next week, may God bless you richly and abundantly.